Sponsored by the Big 98, Nashville's #1 for new country and the home of the Bobby Bones Show.
We're so thrilled to have on an incredible singer, songwriter, guitarist, playing country music, based here in Nashville now, and I've known her for 7 years, hard to believe. Zoe, thanks for coming on the show.
Hi, Eric. Thank you so much for having me on.
You know, I can't believe it. You know, we originally started talking to each other when you were doing music in Australia.
I can't believe
And, you know, because
that.
you're from Tasmania, Australia, and so you had the band then, and that was like not long after you doing motocross.
Yeah, so kind of a strange, long, intricate story. So I'm from the south. I'm from about as south as you can get, from the little island of Tasmania on the
Right.
very southern coast of Australia. I grew up in a town about 6 hours away from everywhere. So we didn't have TV reception. We didn't have mobile phone reception. So my parents had this incredible collection of music from like everything from Merle Haggard like through to AC/DC and like everything in the middle. And so I grew up listening to all of that music and that became a part of my DNA.
Right.
And so, yeah, I eventually, at the time too, actually, I was racing. I was
Right.
racing motorbikes, and I really wanted to go pro with that. You know, I wanted to do the flips and the spins and all that stuff. And I was also abalone diving with my family as well.
Right.
So that was kind
And that's
of
like the family business thing.
It was, yeah. So we lived right by the ocean. So it was kind of, that was like life. And
You know, which is kind of ironic now, that the abalone on your guitars. It's like,
interesting,
dun, dun,
yes,
dun,
that's
it's like
a
the
point.
full circle.
It's so funny when I saw that because it was a full circle moment, exactly, yeah. And so, yeah, from that it was like, but after that I kind of went, music kind of found me and I
Right.
went, okay, I need to focus on this. And so my parents, being who they are and incredibly, incredibly supportive, said, look, we're going to do whatever we need to do to make sure that you
Wow.
do and follow this dream of yours. And so I said, well, that's amazing. And they said, you can't really have a big audience if you stay here in Australia with the kangaroos and the cockatoos around the house. You know, they're not going to buy that much merch.
Right,
so
right.
whatever you need, we're going to be here for you. So we eventually moved to the UK and I started, you know, busking on the streets.
And you did very well in the UK. And you were also touring
Yeah.
the UK and Scandinavia and everything. So you really
Eventually.
started building the fan base there.
Yeah.
Before you made the leap here in 2022 to Nashville.
I know, and here I am. It's been an amazing journey, you know. It's like hard to believe sometimes, but
Well, and I was telling you this too before we started the interview, Zoe. Knowing your music from way back when you were just starting out with it and singing and everything and playing young, and certainly, you know, you're still young now, but it's like, but the progression of your music to where your voice seems so much fuller, particularly on your new songs, like Coastline Time.
Thank you.
You know, and Dirty Blonde and everything.
Yes.
And you know, I got to bring this up, brag on you. You've only been here since last year, and you're writing and recording with like the top A-listers.
Thank you. You know what? I'm still really shocked by that by myself. I woke up and I'm like, is this really happening? Am I playing the Bluebird tonight? Like on the 9 o'clock
I think
show?
you're like a
It's
regular
amazing.
at the Bluebird now.
They've been really nice to me there, and that's the thing about being here, is everyone's been so welcoming, and it's like, you want to work with me? I'm like, really?
But it
Me?
seems, but it
it's
seems
really
like
beautiful.
And like you and I were talking
yeah.
though too, Zoe, it seems like your voice and your music has matured, and definitely your songwriting,
Thank
and
you.
working with, you know, James House and Kenny Greenberg and all these great artists. And I mean, it's just like you're a magnet to them. And you've already had, you know, songs go #1, you know, on iTunes and with the Australian charts.
Yeah.
And you're getting so much more awareness here in town in just a short time.
I'm so grateful, because you know, you come to this town with no expectations either, because there is so much talent in this town.
Right.
And coming in as literally, as the Eagles would say, new kid in town, you never expect anything
Right.
to sort of snowball like that, and it really has. It has done so much better in the last 12 months than I could have ever hoped it would have done.
Do you
So
think
I'm
though the
grateful.
focus goes back to, you know, how you were brought up, you know, with your family, and certainly, you know, I know how into motocross you were, to where, you know, you were very involved in it,
Yeah.
and so you've put that same focus into your music and your songwriting and performance, because I love seeing the videos and the stills from you doing the listening rooms and the Bluebird and everything, and it's just you can tell you're just putting your whole heart and soul
Thank
into
you.
it.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Yeah, you know, it's like if you're if you're not doing something you fully love, you're just doing the wrong thing.
Right.
And I really believe that. And it's like, that's why I had to do music. And it's sort of always been my calling. And I tried other things and it sort of went, no, you have to do this. And so it's just always been there in the back of my head going, you've got to do this, you've got to do this. And so COVID really gave me a chance too to just, to focus on my songwriting side as well, instead of performing, and like learning how to maintain an audience and keep their attention was really great. The UK was amazing for that. Busking on the streets is really a great education.
It really is.
For people that are busy, like they're leaving, they have stuff to do.
And it's very humbling.
It's extremely
Because I've done it before too. It's like going, you really have to be pretty confident to be out there busking on the street.
Yeah. And you know,
and to get their attention, so they drop some bread in your case. You
exactly. It's not fun. It can be really fun. I had some great moments, but to start with, it's like it can be a bit daunting. But yeah, so you know, it was a huge education, and then COVID allowed me just to focus on the songwriting side. And as you say, I've had so many incredible writers in this town just say, "We would love to work with you," and it's like, wow, I'm still blown away by that fact because I'm just me, you know.
Well, and I feel like you're everywhere right now too, with the performances and with the songwriting, with everything you're doing. It seems like, are you sleeping at all? I mean,
I have a little concealer in my bags, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, no, not a lot. Because, I think too, with the way that the music industry is these days, I'm independent, of course, so you're doing so much of the work yourself. Like a label would do, your publishing and your releasing and your marketing and all of the above, the artwork, the videos. I'm doing all of those, and the songwriting, and the performing, and so there's a lot of hats you have to wear as an independent artist, and especially with social media these days, because everyone can see what you're doing. So, and that kind of also comes back in a little bit of a full circle back to the new song Coastline Time, which is sort of all about getting away from social media a little bit, just kind of disconnecting from the digital world and kind of going and just being with yourself for a little bit and getting back to yourself.
And it seems to me like all of your recent songs, Zoe, have been certainly more in the summer vein, leading up to the release of the EP with Waves. But I love the videos too. And just, it seems like, with social media, you've done such a good job of sharing, with your fans. And obviously you've grown a large fan base.
Thank you.
So,
it's, yeah, I'm like, all my friends are like, you're so good with social media, but I'm just filming all the time. That's like the key to it, is you just film. You never know what you're going to get.
Right.
You make content, you write everything that you hear in your head lyric-wise, and you just kind of keep creating. And I don't really have like a voice. There's a voice in my head that's always saying, just keep going, keep doing it, keep going. I can't stop it.
Well, how did it feel when you won the Women of Country Award back in 2021?
Oh my gosh, that was huge. That was really amazing. And again, one of those things, you just like, really? Me? Like,
was that kind of one of the catalysts then? You're going like, okay, I need to get to Nashville now.
It was. And I mean, I'd always had my heart set on Nashville. I came to Nashville, goodness, it would have been 2010, my first time. And I was just as a fan then of everybody at that point. I brought my ukulele with me, and I did my first ever live show on that trip. And I had 3 songs, and I went to Bobby's Idle Hour, and I played.
I played there. Oh, it's a cool little dive right there on Music Row.
And there's sticky floors and the money on the walls and the cigarette smoke, and it's like, I was like, I'm living inside a Chris Christopherson song right now.
It's like paying your dues when you go and play Bobby's.
Yeah, it was beautiful. And I'm getting up there and I'm like with my little ukulele and these awful little songs that I've written, and I'm like, I love this. I can't not do this, and I was hooked. Wow. I think there was only probably like 5 people in the room at the time, but I was hooked, and that was it. And so from there, I kind of went, this is where I have to be.
And 12 years later, you make the leap.
12 years, wow.
Well, and you also, and I got to bring up too, Zoe, with, you started out doing much more of a band type of thing, and now it seems like as a solo artist, you've really kind of focused on that. It seems like a smarter move to me.
Oh, thank you. It's sort of like I realized I had to focus on the songwriting more. I learned how to deal with an audience and how to entertain.
Right.
But I realized I needed to build the catalog of songs, and I needed to find the hit song in the batch, you know, and bring that out and finally get that. So that's what Nashville has been. And Nashville is it's the songwriting capital of the world and music capital of the world. So it has been a real joy to finally be here and move here and get to be around the most talented people in the world.
I think it raises it raises your level. It raises everybody's level musically, because there are so many incredible artists, musicians, and everything here in Nashville.
It could be a little daunting sometimes too,
And humbling,
I was at a show. I played the City Winery a couple of weeks back, and my manager actually came up to me. He's like, "So I'm about maybe 5-10 minutes to showtime, and I'm up there in the green room and I'm like practicing warming up and stuff. And my manager's like, so I don't want to scare you, but Tommy Manuel's in the crowd. See ya! And he left. And I'm like, oh great, now I don't want to touch the guitar at all, like during the whole
it's
show.
not like Tommy's known in Australia or anything.
Not at all.
You know.
But I mean, he's like one of the greatest acoustic guitar players in the world.
Totally.
And so I'm up there on stage now thinking, oh, so this is how we play a D chord. And if you need an education on that, like I can teach you that. I was just, but he was so sweet. He came up at the end and he's like, you're amazingly talented. And it was really sweet. It was a real shock, you know, and I always find it just a joy and an honor.
And it seems like the whole music community has embraced you, just as you've embraced them here. And it's paying off.
Thank you. I'm honored and humbled to be here and to be welcomed so much.
And so obviously with more and more singles, more videos dropping, and Waves, your EP out, what's next? I mean, I know you can't give away all the secrets, but rumors are there may be a tour.
Yeah, well, there's rumors. I can't say too much. Yeah, no, it's like I'm putting out a single every 6 weeks. The EP is coming out on the 4th of August, and then touring and shows and stuff are kind of, it's a happening thing. I can't really divulge too much, but yes, it's all kind of being worked on.
Well,
so
and we touched on it too.
There's never much sleep, I'll just say that.
and then you're endorsed by Kepma Guitars.
I am, and they're amazing. They are, and Tony and the crew out there are just the sweetest people, and they have the best pickup systems, and of course they have the abalone inlays, which
abalone back to Australia.
Isn't that a full circle?
Yeah, and then Shaw, you've been working with Shaw also?
Sure, they've been so lovely. Ryan and the crew out there have been so sweet, really, really sweet, and I've been, again, just incredibly honored to just be like, we can help you. Come on in.
And I've got to bring this up too, because obviously with every tour and with studio time and everything you're doing, it all costs money. So is there any new merch coming out that could relate to the singles?
You're so good.
Yeah.
Yes. So I actually just opened a brand new merch store. It's on my website, zoemusic.com, and yeah, it's got a collection of every single that I've put out so far, and a lot more fun stuff coming as well.
And maybe flip-flops. Great for flip-flops, maybe like an umbrella or something.
There are beach towels and flip-flops, and there's even a wireless phone charger on there as well.
You should do something with abalone also. Maybe just like a little jewelry or something.
That's a good idea. I used to make my own jewelry, so I think I need to hire you for doing this stuff with me. This is good. We can have
fun with this.
This is good.
Well, I mean, you've had so much success with the songs, with the singles, and with the EP out and everything else, but it seems like you're constantly working. I got to ask a final question, though. What studio are you using mainly here in town? Are you doing multiple studios?
I'm doing multiple studios, yeah. So I've been like, the other great thing about Nashville is everyone has a studio in their house, which is like heaven.
Anywhere else people have swimming pools. Here in Nashville, they have studios.
So funny.
Come on in, look at my studio. Okay.
It's so true. It's so true. So I've been like getting to meet all these wonderful people and record all over town, and it's been a joy. Everyone's so kind and so welcoming. And of course, the other thing about Nashville I just love too is the food. I'm a real foodie.
Oh, me too.
My buddy Jeff Cohen, he's one of my co-writers, and every time we do a song write, the first thing we both say to each other is like, so where do you want to get food? It's the best.
In between writing hit songs.
Between music and food, I am so at home. It's like crazy.
Well, and I've got to ask you this too, Zoe, because obviously with the huge leaps that you've made, moving out of Australia, living in the UK and busking and doing all that and touring, and now living in Nashville and having the success that you are, what advice would you give to younger songwriters and everything who are out there in their communities, maybe still back in Australia, UK, wherever, who want to do what you're doing now, and you're kind of living the dream? What advice would you give to them, or to a younger Zoe?
To a young, well, there's that. It's going to be a lot harder than you think it's going to be.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. I never realized quite how much is involved in it, but it's so rewarding to do it, and just never stop. Just keep going, because if you do something long enough, you're eventually going to get better at it, and you're going to make progress. So keep going. Jim Carrey said a wonderful thing too, and it was like, you can fail at something you don't love, so you might as well do what you do love. And that really resonated with me, and so that kind of, I would tell myself that, just keep going, don't stop.
Well, you're definitely not failing. So congratulations.
Thank you so much,
Be
Eric.
sure and go to her website and on social media and go see her live. She's obviously playing every listening room here in Nashville and probably coming to one near you. The new EP, Waves, is out. You're going to love all the singles. My favorites are Coastline Time and Dirty Blonde. But there are a number, they're all great songs.
Thank you so
much. And they showcase your voice so well, Zoe.
Thank you.
So thanks for coming on the show, and be sure and add all of her music to your playlist and go see her live.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Sponsored by the Big 98, Nashville's #1 for new country and the home of the Bobby Bones Show.